had another just blessed weekend in America of chaos and carnage. There were 6 mass shootings in 24 hours, 2 in North Carolina, 2 in Louisiana, 1 in Texas, the terrible scenes out of Michigan. But fear not, because the president is on the case.
This morning, President Trump declares he's deploying troops to Portland, Oregon.
Oh! Portland! You just missed it! You're gonna want a little to the, you've got the right country. But you're gonna want to shift the resort. Why Portland?
Trump posting, I'm directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland.
Hey, stop it! No. Uncontrollable, these people. In the orgy of mass shootings in America, Portland? Did I miss Vancouver attacking Portland in a fierce battle of mellow artisans? Don't shoot till you see the whites of their cold foam half-calf latte art. Not sure what that accent was, by the way. Here's the craziest part. The people of Oregon, Portland in particular, were also caught off guard by this. And the governor of Oregon tried to explain to the president that they were not in a state of war. And the president's response was, well, it was telling.
President Trump, in an interview with NBC on Sunday morning, said a phone call with Governor Kotek showed him a different perspective.
Saying, I spoke to the governor, she was very nice, but I said, well, wait a minute, am I watching things on television that are different from what's happening?
I don't think any of us know what you're watching on television. But if it's Game of Thrones, I'd say yes. Conditions in Portland may vary. And B, this explains so much about the governing philosophy of the Trump administration. There is reality, and then there's this.
My people tell me different. They are literally attacking, and there are fires all over the place.
And dragons. There be dragons! So, the President of the United States, alone in his bescreened bunker, sees reports of conflict in Portland on TV. His lackeys reinforce the chaos, and rather than take a breath, rather than take a beat, rather than not acting rashly, rather than using the resources available to him as the President of the United States to find out what the realities on the ground are, he just goes, Code Red! Red team, go! Because he sees it on TV and acts impulsively. He sends out the National Guard the same way you or I might make a late-night ShamWow purchase. I saw it on TV. It was on TV. In reality, it's just a fucking rag. But at 3 in the morning, it's magic. Meanwhile, the non-Portland area of the country is going through some shit. As we mentioned, there's a mass shooting now like every couple of hours. Previously, the routine would be we express our shock, we express our sadness, we offer our thoughts and prayers, we spend a day, maybe 2, arguing about the appropriateness of bringing up guns at all, and then we do nothing until the next time. But as our politics becomes more polarized, even that learned cycle of helplessness has been replaced by a new post-shooting pastime. That new pastime is, was this one of yours?
The shooter was a radical leftist.
The guy is a right-wing Trump-supporting evangelical Christian.
He is a Biden supporter. Case closed.
We know the suspected shooter is MAGA.
The shooter, a leftist, whack job.
It's America's new gender reveal tradition. Boom! It's blue! Ha ha! I'm so happy to blame the left for the violence. The game is so ubiquitous. Now we often play it before we even know who the perpetrator is.
The killer's identity may be unknown, but his point of view seems pretty clear. That's why I'm calling it political and from the left.
That's Kudlow's Lock of the Week. Lock it up. Next, murder rate in Chicago next weekend. Well, it's getting cold there, so I'm taking the under. By the way, playing Was This One of Yours is also certainly a speculative endeavor. So we are treated in the aftermath of these horrific crimes to the news media's active politicized scavenger hunt. Which piece of inconclusive arcana proves which half of the country is to blame?
The shooter reportedly voted in the 2020 Democrat primary.
The Butler, Pennsylvania shooter was a registered Republican.
The suspect wasn't registered with either party. He grew up in an area of Utah that is mostly Republican.
The shooter was a registered Republican, while election records show that in 2021 he gave $15 to a Democratic-aligned organization.
He's a Republican, but cheap? Republican, but donated to a Democrat. Maybe he just wanted the PBS Ken Burns tote bag. I don't know. I don't know who to hate. Sometimes the clues aren't even expressly political, but live politically adjacent in the culture.
Social media photos show Mr. Robinson shooting and posing with guns.
There's his pickup truck, the huge American flags.
This person was a gay man who was in a relationship with another man who believed he was a woman, and they were both into a phenomenon that can only be described as furriness.
I love that this dude has to pretend like he doesn't know what furries are. I mean, it can be only, I don't know. Can only be described as a sexual costume party with animals. I mean, if you were even to do something like that, how would you even get the stains out of the costumes? I mean, especially if they had set for 3 days. What would you use? Club soda, lemon? I'm just asking. Or do you just throw the costume out after each experience? Now, call me old-fashioned, but I miss the good old days of mass shootings, when networks took a principled stance to not shower attention on acts designed to get attention.
We will not say the gunman's name or show his photograph.
Fox News will not show you his picture or give him any attention by repeating his name.
We don't like naming the gunman because so often they do things just to get attention.
We don't want to bring more undue attention that is absolutely necessary to the cowards that carry out these types of attacks.
That's right, boys and girls, you know. When I was a boy, there was a brief period in American media where not only wouldn't they say the suspected killer's name, they wouldn't constantly show the suspected killer's OnlyFans hotshots. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't. Oh, dear Lord. Oh my God. He could have done so much good with those. And yet he chose the dark side. So why has the news media become obsessed with right-left framing of violence? Well, part of the reason is they are following the lead of social media. Social media is doing it crazier and faster than anybody else. So the media is trying to keep up. The fire in the church in Michigan was still burning when online influencers were inferring that the number of Muslims in Michigan are what obviously made this attack happen, until police released the suspect's photo, which looked like it came from a Duck Dynasty fanfic account. And then the left got to celebrate. And then they found a Trump Vance sign on his house, case closed, except that sign was placed near a stop sign. So some on the right said, no, he's saying stop Trump Vance. Like it's some leftist rebus that he was creating. But here's the thing. Who the cares? These mass shootings don't fit. Who honestly cares? These mass shootings do not fit neatly into our left-right paradigm. Mass shootings are probably caused by a complex fusion of mental health and access to weapons and attention-seeking delusional nihilism married to an algorithmic underworld that set these horrific acts in motion. But unfortunately, right-left paradigm is the only way our narcissistic media ecosystem sees anything anymore. That's the system they built. So it must fit into the right-left paradigm because that binary is the foundation of all of their programming. So that helps them pretend that the solution to this violence is a simple change in our right-left rhetoric.
The violent rhetoric that is coming from the extreme right wing.
Democratic Party, they are not just tolerating political violence, they are cultivating it.
The right wing has gotten so incensed, so dangerously violent, at least in its rhetoric.
What is your message to your fellow Democrats in Congress?
Stop with the rhetoric. You're getting people killed.
I don't think the rhetoric is getting people killed, honestly. I don't think any of these psychotic motherfuckers that are doing this are watching MSNBC. I mean, I'm only judging from the ratings. I'm almost positive they're not watching it. To suggest that we don't need to tackle any complex, deep-rooted issues haunting American society, we just need to stop saying a few choice bad words and all our mentally broken young men will be fine, is not realistic. And I'm pretty sure that these people don't believe that either.
When you equate federal agents with literal Nazis, you're no longer offering an opinion. You are giving permission to escalate.
Permission to escalate, right. So dangerous. So...
This is what Hitler did with the SS. This is what Nazi Joseph Goebbels said about the Hitler Youth. Nazi tactics are progressive tactics first.
Permission to escalate granted.
Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis.
Except when...
The Democrats, they are authoritarians. They are jackbooted thugs.
Well, no, he's not calling them Nazis. Sure, that's just a fashion critique. Jackbooted thugs, I mean those boots. And white pants in October? Are you mad? Only Hitler would pull something like that. Look, getting our arms around why this is happening is maddening and scary. But the media's ability to memory hole mass shootings that they can't neatly fit into right-left is almost as maddening as not really knowing why these killings are really happening. Even when the suspected killers leave supposedly explicit cues on their bullets.
One inscription read, "Hey fascist, catch," giving some indication about the mindset of Tyler Robinson.
Oh, right. No, it's very clearly anti-fascist, very clear. Unless, was there anything written on the other bullets?
If you read this, you are gay, LMAO. Okay, that seems kind of homophobic to me.
If you read this, you're gay. I don't know what that means.
Well, read it again. It means... Yeah, it's got to mean something.
New York City college meme and digital culture researcher we spoke to said could refer to a video game called Helldivers 2. The same for other inscriptions found on an up arrow, a right arrow, and 3 down arrows, which is how you drop a bomb in that game.
What the f*** are we even... The world that these kids now live in is so cynical and impermeable. This online netherworld. If only there were a man. One man. A man who looks square, but is hep to what these kids are laying down, man.
There's a lot of talk about the chat platform Discord, and Kurt the Cyber Guy joins us now to tell us what Discord is.
Oh. Kurt the Cyber Guy has shown up. Fresh off of doing the weather in Sarasota. Thanks for the lowdown, Kurt the Cyber Guy, you old cyber dog. Say hello to your partner in crime, meme maven Gary. Meanwhile, why are we all just taking the bait from these psychos?
Authorities have not released the motive, but of course, here's the ammunition. The words anti-ICE, that phrase hyphenated, written on one of the bullet casings.
We just had the facts laid out for us. This was an individual motivated by anti-ICE. He wrote it on a bullet. We saw the bullet yesterday. Anti-ICE.
Case closed. He wrote anti-ICE. Doesn't anybody think it's f***ing weird that these people just started writing on bullets all of a sudden? Like that's the most effective way to get out their deeply held political beliefs? Anti-ICE, enough said. Or is there the slightest possibility that these people are f***ing with us?
According to his friends, the alleged gunman was not overly political and was mainly interested in video games and internet culture.
Clearly, it's anti-ICE, right? And his friends say, I wouldn't interpret it that way. He was never a sincere guy. Everything he said was laced with irony and sarcasm.
What kind of f***ing psychotic internet culture? What's happening? Can't we just go back to the cinnamon challenge? Is that so hard? What is wrong with you? Look, we would definitely have a healthier political discourse if we weren't constantly calling each other fascists and communists and Nazis. But we are the only place in the world where this shit happens all the time. But we're not the only place in the world that name calls. So what is this? Perhaps we need to look back at our founders, who through their infinite wisdom designed and operated a more mature system with checks and balances and a respect for all that prevented this kind of corrosive infighting and radicalization.
John Quincy Adams taking aim at Jackson, asserting that Jackson didn't know how to spell, was too uneducated to become president, while newspapers portrayed his wife Rachel as a short, fat dumpling.
A delicious dumpling indeed.
Let's start with America's military, the Karen of the world. They just will not stay out of other countries' business. And leading this military is Pete Hegseth, who you might think is the Secretary of Defense. But you'd be wrong. He's rebranded himself the Secretary of War. You know how cool guys always give themselves nicknames. And as part of this military makeover, last week, the secretary announced a surprise meeting.
Tonight, in an unprecedented move, Secretary Pete Hegseth asking all U.S. general officers and admirals around the world to gather at the U.S. Marine Base in Quantico, Virginia.
A meeting of this size in person and on such short notice is extremely rare.
It's going to also potentially be a security risk, given the sheer number of military officials and how many are going to be gathered in one place at a time.
Listen, we all do weird things when we're drunk, okay? Some of us slide into an ex's DMs, and some of us call every U.S. general to a meeting at Quantico. But, you know, I'm sure if the secretary is going to gather all the generals, some of them from active war zones, then he must have something very important he wants to tell them.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
That's what you dragged all these generals in for? To tell them they're fat? Couldn't you just leave some passive-aggressive comments on their Instagram? Like, hey, congrats, General, when are you due? I mean, this guy will text top-secret war plans, but when it comes to body shaming, he's like, I want to see their fat faces when I tell them how fat their faces are. Look, I get the military needs to be fit, okay? But in defense of fat generals, they're kind of like coaches, right? Like, coaches don't need to be fit enough to play the sport. They just have to be fit enough to date a 24-year-old. And also, there are some military positions you kind of don't want a fit soldier for. Like, I don't want a guy with six-pack abs operating a drone. He clearly hasn't had enough time and experience sitting down like this with a controller. Just going, okay, he's dead. But telling generals they have to get on Ozempic wasn't the whole speech. America's Secretary of War had more to say than that.
No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards.
Okay, you hear that, you goddamn hippie generals? No more beards. I'm looking at you, Admiral Lebowski. Now, according to Pete Hegseth, America's military standards are now going to be indistinguishable from a Grindr profile, okay? No fatties, no facial hair, and get those ladies the out of my sight. But it's all about a much larger project of de-wokificationing.
An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. They had to put out dizzying DEI and LGBTQI plus statements. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses.
Yeah, you hear that, General Doubtfire? Something very weird about that general. I can't put my finger on it. Although, are we sure dudes wearing dresses doesn't work? Because the Taliban wore dresses, and it kind of worked for them. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe the beards cancel out the dresses. Someone check the math on that. But this wasn't just a pep talk. Pete Hegseth, the motherfucking Secretary of motherfucking War, also took the opportunity to bump his book sales on Amazon.
You might say we're ending the war on warriors. I heard someone wrote a book about that.
Yeah. And that someone was him. Say what you want about Henry Kissinger. I mean, at least he never used his position to sell his book, 101 War Crimes to Try on Cambodians. But bottom line, a lot of people were worried that this event was going to show that Pete Hegseth had taken over the military. But it actually just showed how disconnected his MAGA rally energy is from their professional culture, especially this moment that he clearly thought was going to crush.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O. If necessary, our troops can translate that for you.
Wow. Not even the leaders of the U.S. military have ever seen a line bomb that hard before. It's just kind of, it's weird and some would say juvenile to use internet slang in a speech to your adversaries. I mean, President Reagan was never like, Mr. Gorbachev, I hark to us, spit on that wall. But basically, that was Pete Hegseth's speech. F-A-F-O. And no one in the military is allowed to be fat, especially the leaders. Okay? It's a bad look. So next up to speak was the famously thin health nut commander-in-chief, Donald Trump. And even President Trump noticed how dead the room was.
Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before.
Wow, way to throw your opening act under the bus. Who was that lead? Who was that loser, huh? I thought alcoholics were supposed to be fun. Well, if anyone can win a room back, it's President Trump, who convinced these generals there was a good reason to pull them from their posts.
I call it the N-word.
Oh, shit. He's coming in hot here. Is he gonna say the thing? Is this about to happen? Is this it?
The word nuclear, we can't let people throw around that word.
Oh, okay, the N-word is nuclear. Okay, but that's a weird way to say it, since there's also kind of another word that we famously refer to as the N-word.
There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer.
Wait, are we still talking about nuclear or the other one? I just want to make sure. Look, I'm sure the gathering of America's most decorated generals is loving this extended riff on the N-word, but let's maybe wrap this up before it gets out of hand.
San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. And this is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control.
Okay. You know what? Can we just go back to talking about the N-word, okay? Because this seems worse. So is that what this whole thing was about? Giving these generals the marching orders for war against American cities? That's some pretty dark and scary shit from the president and the secretary of war. I mean, no, start with no, not now. No shredding. Shredding for good stuff only, not bad stuff. I thought the worst thing that could happen this week was when Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban broke up. I mean, I know, if two hot Australians with the same face can't make it work, then what hope is there for the rest of us? But then, to make it worse, my favorite federal government also couldn't make it work.
And the breaking news as of this morning, the U.S. government is officially shut down.
The main sticking point is health care. Democrats want to reverse Medicaid cuts and stop enhanced Obamacare subsidies from expiring.
But top Republicans say they will not negotiate until the government reopens.
Wait, this is all because of health care? But I thought that hot guy murdering that CEO solved all of this. Look, this is the classic dispute between the parties. Democrats say that the government should help pay for health care, and Republicans say that's what GoFundMe is for. But because the Republicans need Democratic votes to keep the government open, the two parties have to come together. So this moment calls for a serious and sober-minded leader like President Trump to work with the other side to find compromise with dignity and mutual respect.
The president last night posted an AI-generated video depicting House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero and mustache, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer speaking in a fake voice.
There's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit.
What the f*** did I just watch? Trump is making fun of a black man for being Mexican? It's almost too confusing to be racist. It's like putting a headdress on the Twin Towers. I mean, I don't even know what you're trying to say. I don't have the racist math skills to solve this equation. I never thought I'd say this, but Donald Trump, can you be better at racism? I mean, what's making reality break down even more is that this is the official position of the President of the United States. Is it hilarious? Yes. Is it professional? No. So let's see the mature, measured response from the Democrats.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere.
Finally, some adults in charge. You know what? I'd like to see Donald Trump make fun of that.
President Trump posting another AI-generated video.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
God damn, this makes even less sense. But it's even more funny. What is the bit here? What? So Hakeem Jeffries is Mexican now, and so is Trump, and they start a mariachi band. I mean, maybe this is them coming together. I mean, maybe this is President Trump's way of outreach to the other side. Like, he's trying to signal that they can work out a deal at band practice. I don't know. But yes, I hope they do get together soon, because as long as this government is shut down, this is going to over a lot of people.
As many as 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed. Many others will have to report to work but will not get paid. That includes TSA officers.
Wait, TSA officers were getting paid this whole time? Then why are they so angry? Look, I'm sorry, I didn't know Kindles were laptops, all right? Stop yelling at me. And it's not just the TSA. This shutdown is also affecting the one thing in America that everyone actually liked.
Among the big impact of our shutdown are national parks. They will remain partially open, but buildings that require staffing, like visitor centers, well, they will close.
The last time there was a shutdown, human waste had been left outside of the restrooms with no one there to clean anything up.
Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. You know, when the trash can is full and you put your trash next to it to indicate that you at least tried to put it in? It's like that, but with shit. This sucks because national parks are like the one thing in America that's not a left-right issue. Everyone, regardless of political party, goes there to enjoy the beauty and splendor of being outside, staring at your phone. It's day 2 of the shutdown, and only the most essential services are still operating. Social Security, Medicare, and that department that makes up causes for autism. Today, it's minestrone. You hear that? Don't give pregnant women minestrone. It's got too many different things in it that the body can't handle. Now, for the Republicans and Democrats, the most important part of the shutdown is coming together and blaming the other side for it. President Trump has been posting AI videos of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. And now, unfortunately, Democrats are hitting back with their own videos.
It's midnight. The Republican shutdown has just begun.
Can you see me? Well, of course you can't, because the Republicans turned the lights off.
Open the door, Mr. Speaker. Open the doors of Congress, Mr. Speaker.
Republicans. Is Mike Johnson in here? Hello? Republicans. No Republicans on the train. Hello, Republicans. Have you seen any Republicans? No Republicans here.
No Republicans here because they all died from secondhand embarrassment. Look, Democrats aren't as good at video content as they are at sending emails, asking for money. So, I don't know, let's try something else.
Yesterday, Democrats posted a Kitty Explains meme blaming the GOP for the shutdown.
Democrat kitties want you to have health care. Republican kitties do not.
Wow, that was also not good, but still better than whatever Batman villain Chuck Schumer is turning into. I mean, my guess is the Penguin. But you know what? They made a substantive point in there. I'd like to see Republicans' counter-argument.
Republicans, of course, responded with this: a kitten wearing a sombrero.
God damn, the sombrero meme is undefeated. It's like an unblockable combo. With this meme, Republicans will never have to make a coherent point again. It's unstoppable.
Republican Senator Ted Cruz added his own version of Hey Macarena, superimposing the image on 44 Democratic senators.
And it's over. Once Ted Cruz joins in on something, it's dead. Actually, you know what? Can we also get him a Labubu? Because I'm kind of sick of those things. Now, you might be wondering why Republicans keep putting sombreros on Democrats. Apparently, it's part of their talking point that Democrats shut down the government to help illegal immigrants.
What they have done instead is to shut down the government because we won't give billions of dollars to health care funding for illegal aliens.
They prioritize taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens over keeping the government open for American citizens.
Democrats, the party of open borders, transgender for everybody, lawlessness in our streets, are shutting down the government in an effort to appease the radical left. These Democrats are demanding nearly $1.5 trillion in spending for an agenda that includes healthcare for illegal aliens and much, much more.
Holy shit. When you wake up from surgery, you will be a transgender illegal immigrant. I mean, that ad was so scary, I was expecting the girl from The Ring to crawl out of it and then become the boy from The Ring. But this is a pretty big accusation, okay? Democrats say they're shutting down the government because they want to preserve health care for tens of millions of Americans. But Republicans say Democrats just want to give health care to illegal immigrants. So can someone just clear this up for me?
Republicans pressuring moderate Democrats by claiming they are pushing for health care for undocumented immigrants. But their accusation is dubious and refers to a small group of benefit recipients whose status is considered lawfully present. Federal law explicitly prohibits undocumented people from receiving aid.
So in other words, some of the health care that Democrats are trying to get for Americans might also trickle down to some people who are not Americans. You know, when you're showering and you aren't trying to wash your feet, but it just kind of sort of happens by accident along the way, which I actually just learned is how white people wash their feet. They don't make a point, they don't lift up their feet and wash it, they just, if it happens, it happens. Anyway, that's what this shutdown is about now. Now, look, this isn't the first time the parties shut down the government and blamed each other, okay? But this time, Republicans aren't just trying to blame Democrats. They're trying to punish the states they come from.
The White House has already started targeting projects important to Democrats, blocking $8 billion for energy projects in 16 states that voted Democrat in the last presidential election.
The Trump administration announced Wednesday it would withhold $18 billion in funding for transportation projects in New York City, home to Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries.
Wait a minute, right there, right? You're telling me every New Yorker is going to suffer because of your beef with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries? Hey, President Trump, don't forget, there are things in New York you care about too, all right? Like Wall Street, Fox News hosts, your current wife and the home she lives in by herself for some reason, right? But you know what, Trump? New York doesn't want your money anyway, okay? Our transportation is just fine. Our rats are getting so big, you can ride them to work now. And by the way, it's not just Democratic states. This dude is going scorched earth on his own government.
White House Budget Director Russ Vought warned mass layoffs could come within the next 2 days.
President Trump is teasing that I have a meeting with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut.
A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
That's right. This guy is excited for the shutdown. And that's the Democrats' fatal mistake. They assume that Donald Trump cares about the government he's the president of. You think you're playing a game of chicken, but he's playing a game of let me crash into your car. And as you heard, the guy who's driving his car is the White House Budget Director and future Paul Giamatti Oscar role, Russell Vought. According to Senator Mike Lee, this guy might be even more excited about tearing down the government than Donald Trump.
Russ Vought, the OMB director, has been dreaming about this moment, preparing this moment since puberty.
Look, I know puberty can get weird, but this guy's balls dropped and he was like, oh, man, I want to fire people in the government so bad. Especially Democrats. This is probably the only 13-year-old in history who hid a copy of the federal budget inside a penthouse. I mean, I hope Democrats have a plan for this, because letting this guy have control of the federal government, I can't think of anything scarier than that. Oh, shit! Oh, oh my God. Sorry, I stand corrected here.